Tonight, you'll go to bed, you'll pull the blanket up to your chin, you'll stare at a glowing rectangle until your eyes give up. Maybe you'll get up once for water you didn't need, and then, warm, safe, surrounded by walls, you'll fall asleep. Now take it all away. The blanket, the phone, the bed, the walls, the roof, the light. Take away everything and drop yourself into the middle of a frozen continent, under a sky with no cities in it, wrapped in the fur of an animal you killed, listening to something heavy breathing in the dark, close. For one family, this wasn't a nightmare. This was just night, every night, for thousands of years. You know this family. They're the ones who walked out of the cold, across a land bridge that doesn't exist anymore, into a continent with no humans in it at all. The first Americans. They hunted mammoths. They feared nothing that walked. Their days belonged to them completely. No clocks, no bosses, no work. But here's what almost nobody asks about them. What did they do when the sun went down? When the steppe turned black? When the cold dropped past the line that kills? When the things that hunted them woke up? What was the plan? Did they sleep? Did they sit up? Did they just wait for the sun and hope? We spend a third of our lives asleep, and we almost never think about how strange and how dangerous that third used to be. Here's the first brutal truth. In daylight, this family was the most dangerous thing on the steppe. A coordinated pack of hunters with spears, with fire, with a plan. But the dark flipped the board. Out there in the black were saber-toothed cats, dire wolves that hunted in packs, and the short-faced bear, taller than a man at the shoulder, fast enough to run you down in the open. These were ambush hunters. Darkness was their advantage, not yours. At night, the family stopped being the hunter. At night, they were just warm meat with bad night vision. You didn't need a forecast. The forecast was dark and something out there is hungry. So what do when you can't see and they can? You don't fight the dark. You outsmart it. You group up. You find a wall, a rock, an overhang, a cave with one way in. And suddenly the math changes. One entrance means one direction to watch. You put your back to the stone and the whole black world shrinks to a single doorway. It's the first security system ever built, and a saber-tooth can't exactly sneak through a back door that isn't there. Then the family sleeps close enough to share heat, close enough to hear each other breathe, close enough that if anything comes in the night, everyone knows at once. And someone is always a light sleeper. Someone always stirs. Someone is always, without even meaning to, on watch. And then there was the thing that changed everything: fire. By the time this family crossed into the New World, humans had been keeping fire for hundreds of thousands of years. Real hearths show up in the record around 400,000 years back. But out here, on a freezing steppe full of teeth, fire wasn't a comfort. It was the difference between morning and never. It keeps you warm, yes. It cooks the meat so your body gets more out of every bite. But the most important thing it does is draw a line. A circle of light. A wall between you and the dark that isn't really a wall at all. And yet, it works. Most big predators won't step into firelight, not because the flame can hurt them, but because they evolved to own the darkness, and an open fire is wrong, an anomaly, a thing that shouldn't be there. Inside that circle, the family was safe, not because they were strong, because of light. But fire did something stranger than keep them alive. It changed what they were. Think about what it actually does to people. You can't work by it, you can't hunt by it, you can't do anything useful. All you can do is sit and look at each other and talk. Anthropologists studied groups who still live this way, and they found something almost unbelievable. In daylight, the talk is practical. Who goes where, what to carry, who did what, logistics, the Stone Age version of a morning meeting. But at night, around the fire, the talk transforms. Around 80% of it becomes stories. Stories about ancestors, about where the world came from, about what it means to be brave, to be fair, to be someone worth knowing. Every night, for thousands of years, people sat in the light and told each other the world. The campfire was the first cinema. The storyteller was the screen. And those stories were how everything survived. The values, the history, the rules, the identity, with no writing, no books, nothing but memory and firelight. Stories at night were the hard drive of the whole human race. Fire didn't just save them from the dark. Sitting in that circle, telling those stories, might be the exact reason we became the kind of animal that can imagine. Now, about sleep itself, because this is where it gets genuinely strange. We think the right way to sleep is 8 hours in one block all the way through. So when you wake up at 3 a.m. and can't drop back off, you panic. You assume you're broken. But that assumption might be completely historically wrong. A historian spent decades reading thousands of old documents, diaries, court records, medical books, letters, and found the same thing over and over. For most of human history, people didn't sleep in one block. They slept in two. First sleep and second sleep. You'd lie down after dark, sleep 3 or 4 hours, then wake calmly, naturally, no alarm, no fear, and just be awake for an hour, maybe 2, and then sink back down into second sleep until dawn. This wasn't insomnia. It wasn't a disorder. It wasn't a malfunction. It was simply what night was. The body doing what it had always done, resting in 2 halves with a quiet, clear-headed island in the middle. And here's the part that should really change how you see them. They didn't just survive the night. They engineered it. We imagine ancient people flopping down on bare, cold ground and hoping for the best. The truth is far more clever. At a cave in southern Africa, there's evidence going back 200,000 years of people building real bedding. Careful layers of grass and leaves chosen on purpose. And underneath that bedding, archaeologists found ash. Not by accident. Ash spread there deliberately because it keeps the bugs away. Ticks, fleas, the tiny things that bite you in your sleep and carry disease. Someone, long ago, woke up itchy, looked at the ash from the fire and made a connection. Tested it. It worked. Taught it to everyone else. That is science. That is the scientific method running in a Stone Age mind, aimed at one goal, a better night's sleep. These weren't people barely clinging to life. These were people solving problems, improving the design, making the dark more comfortable. Out here, the cold was its own predator. On an Ice Age steppe, a night could drop low enough to kill an unprotected body in hours. So the family did the only thing that worked. They slept as one, pressed together under fur, a single knot of bodies. This wasn't just closeness. This was physics. More bodies in a small space meant more warmth. More warmth meant making it to morning. And remember the light sleepers? In any group, some people naturally wake at the smallest sound. Researchers think that's not random. It might be built in. A group where everyone sleeps like a stone is a group that gets eaten. A group with a mix, some deep, some light, has guards all night long, rotating on their own, and nobody has to volunteer for the misery of standing watch. Evolution solved the night shift without anyone signing up for it. And when the fire burned low and the family looked up, they saw something we've almost completely lost. A sky absolutely packed with stars, no streetlights, no glow on the horizon, no screens, just the full blazing machinery of the night. And to them, that sky wasn't decoration. It was a tool. The stars told them the seasons, when the herds would move, when the cold would come, when to travel. The same sky all over the world became humanity's first instrument. People with no compass and no maps crossed entire oceans by memorizing the rising points of hundreds of stars. People built whole cities lined up with points of light that only appear in the dark. The night sky was the first map, the first calendar, the first sacred text, a library hanging over every single human head, and for hundreds of thousands of years, we knew how to read it. And then, slowly, we turned the lights on, first fire, then lamps, then gas, then the switch on the wall, and we beat the dark completely, which, to be fair, was absolutely worth it. Warm houses, clean water, medicine, no saber-tooth at the door. Nobody's giving that back. But something quietly went missing in the trade. We crushed night and day into one long lit-up blur. We packed the stars away behind a glow we made ourselves. We forgot the rhythm our own bodies were built around. The family knew the sky like you know your street. Most of us couldn't find a single constellation. They woke in the deep of the night and felt completely normal. We wake at the same hour and reach for a glowing rectangle in a small panic. They had the dark. We have the light. And we're not always sure which one we traded for which. So here's the strange gift in all of this. Next time you wake at 3 a.m, calm, clear, wide awake for no reason, thoughts moving like quiet water, don't panic, don't grab the phone, don't start the spiral. Just lie there in the dark for a little while, because you're not broken, you're not anxious, you're not developing some disorder. You are doing exactly what your ancestors did at the exact hour they did on a continent they walked into with nothing but spears and each other. The same family that feared nothing, that walked. The same family that owned every free day of their lives. This was the other half of them, the half in the dark, where they became people. The night was never the empty part of their story. The night was where the story was told. Your body still remembers it. So tell me, when you wake up at 3 a.m., where does your mind go? Drop it in the comments.